Hello, people. I'm not going to be on here. I'm not going to do like a long show today. I'm just going to basically let you guys know what's going on. And I've heard a lot of negative remarks about the tapes and recording people and everything. But here's one thing that you got to understand: the Alites are very, very dirty playing people. They have done so much to attack and harm people, whether it's Damien Trite, whether it's Angel Gotti, or whether it's me. And when I first went into this whole thing, they put up a bunch of pages in the beginning mocking my brother's death, saying horrible things about why he killed himself. And on top of that, they also called me a pedophile without any reason. That's their famous thing. They call people pedophiles. That's how low life these people are. And I may have pissed some people off the way I did things, but I really don't care. These people are dirty, and when you're playing with dirty people, you have to be dirty. The only ways you can get to the Alites is by being real dirty. And unfortunately, Jimmy Alite is a wealth of information. It's a good thing he's not a gangster, because he would have been the first person to sing when he was pulled into the police station. It's not like it was hard. A matter of fact, 2 times today, he has literally gotten a hold of me, and I will read you those texts. I'm not putting the text up here because his phone number's on him and stuff, and I'm not like a lot of people. I'm not really good on fixing those correctly, so I don't want to dox him, even though he deserves it. But the fact of the matter is, people look at Jimmy like he's this dumb guy sitting in his room, and he doesn't know what's going on. It's the furthest thing from the truth. Jimmy is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. He just doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. I mean, when this first happened about a week ago, the first thing he did is he called me. And he literally threatened to come down to my house and hurt me, literally. And you guys will hear that eventually. So he's on the phone threatening to hurt me because of the fact that I caught him red-handed saying all these things. And unfortunately, he's the fool that's used by his brother. He's like the guy that takes all the bullshit and does all the dirty work. And of course, we know about the other people that are with him also. That's going to be in another show. But we're talking about these two. I'm going to talk about the 2 brothers specifically right now, because they need to be talked about. If you want to take the word evil and put it by somebody, these would be the 2 people to put it by. These 2 brothers. The fact that they would use the term pedophile when going after somebody and not even care about it, use the word so easily. They literally had this one man who they would never say it to his face because he would kick their ass. And what they did to this man with putting articles online, putting up these pages and calling him a pedophile, saying that he molests people. I mean, and this was a guy that was not even capable of being anything like that. And then to come after me with the pedophile, saying that my brother killed himself because I molested him. Literally putting this shit on the pages. And I was just boiling and boiling and boiling. And all I was thinking is, how can I get even with these fucking cocksuckers for doing this? And, I really got attacked hard. Even when I said what was going on, I still continually got from people on the right side. And I don't blame them, because they didn't know what to think. But, when you keep something in and you know what's going on, it's kind of tough sometimes, especially when you get brutally attacked. But, I'm not going to say I don't deserve that, because I did deserve that. But that's not going to happen anymore. If anybody attacks me, and this goes for you, Jimmy Calandra, because you keep this shit up. Last night you said to me you were making fun about me taping people on the phone. So Jimmy, what side are you on? That's the question I want to ask you. I'm not going to attack you no more, Jimmy, but you need to decide whether you're with the rats or whether you're on the other side, because right now you're playing both sides. People say, so that's what I'm going to say to Jimmy. You can say whatever you want. You can put another video on attacking me, but then I'll just do it back to you, Jimmy. But you need to decide where you are in this, because you have to remember you're being accepted despite what you did by other people. Okay, so that's it on Jimmy. And then when you get to the Alites, I'm going to give you, here's what Jimmy sent me this morning. And the first thing Jimmy sent me this morning is this. And I'll be sending these so people could see them without the phone numbers on them. But this is the first text he sent to me this morning. You are a lowlife and a liar. You lied to me and my family, anything for a buck paid by Angel. You even used your brother's suicide to lie. You're a gross guy, and everyone knows that. You're gross in every way. Keep wasting time, and we'll get you back, you pedophile. So basically, with this text right here, he's threatening to use my brother's death and to start attacking me as a pedophile. And then I wrote back to him, oh, here you go. The pages are up, and you will call me a pedo. And I told him to go for it. And then he writes me back, you are a pedo lowlife. No scruples, liar. Use your brother's death by suicide. Lowlife, kiss Angel's ass for $1. Your partner in crime, Tanya. She is a bigger lowlife and whore than what you are saying. And then I wrote, why are you saying this shit? Pedo, that means that you're going to attack me and my brother's death. You are, you sure you want to go this way with me? So right away, that's what he did. This is what they do. So they're basically threatening me with the pedo. And the worst thing that you can call a person in life is a pedophile. And this is why they've chosen this attack always. And then we got them on tape talking about Angel Gotti's husband, who just passed away. And what did they do? They lied and said that he died of a heroin overdose. Who says that? A heroin overdose. A man that just passes away. And, and then there's 2 more tapes coming out that Tanya has. And because of legal implications, this is the way we're going to do it. And just so anybody thinks about suing me, here's the law for the state of Texas. The state of Texas says that any phone call can be recorded as long as one party knows, and that can include the person taping the call. So Mob Rats exposed. I'm not playing the tapes. Tanya has 2 more. She's playing the tapes. That was my agreement to her. She's taking care of it. The problem with another main reason I had Tanya doing them, the voice is very low in them on the person speaking, and Tanya has the technology to turn it up. So that's why we're doing that. And she just has a lot of technology with computers that I don't have. And I'm sure that she's going to be playing the next 2. I'm hoping that she plays them today. But this isn't going to be easy, people, because now the attack's going to come. They're going to get brutal. They're going to say everything in the world to me. They're going to attack my brother, and they're going to attack me. And they're going to up the attack on Angel Gotti. Most likely, and Chris, they went after Chris, Sicilian. They've gone after his wife. And now they're going to be really pissed. So I see them turning this up. But at least you people know what they're like and what they're doing. It's not gonna stop. I'll give you an example. John Alites, he's down to 80 people in his on his patron page. 80. He was up to like over 300. So he's taking a beating. People are leaving him real fast. So, when you're fighting back, it's always been one person fighting back. Well, actually, forgive me. There's been three people that's really been involved in this a long time. Casperosa, then you have Mob Talk Radio, and Angel. Those are the three people. And it just so happens that within the last few months, it's grown. We have more people now. It's not just we're down, now it's myself, MRE, which he's vicious and you can't see him and he doesn't give a shit. He comes for you. Believe me, I learned. Then you have Walt Sicilian. And these are three stations that are always going to attack. I mean, John Alite, he's been laughing because we've been going after Ramondi and people like that. So we have to make a commitment now and not go after these people anymore. We have to concentrate on the Alites and his crew. That's basically what it comes down to. And if we make that promise, we have them on, right now they're holding on at the edge of the cliff with their fingertips. And there's going to be a lot more rats coming out of jail, out of prison. A lot more of them are going to be coming out. So this is just the beginning. I mean, the more FBI rats there are, and they're all turning. I mean, look at what happened to the Columbos yesterday. Do you think that a bunch of rats ain't involved in that? You don't think a bunch of rats are going to be walking away from that Colombo family? And what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to run on these platforms, and they're going to start their own shows, and they're going to tell you what fucking great gangsters they were, even though they were rats. That's how they do it. And that's a good thing because it gives people like Fat Bull Sicilian, myself, and Mob Rats, and if other people decide to change their platforms and not be giving these fake people platforms, But I'm going to say this too: if anybody attacks me, that they're not sure where they are in this. I'm going to hit him back, and you guys know who I mean. So, I think that the best thing is for everybody to pick it up a notch. I mean, for the last month and a half, because of this whole thing, we've all been kind of off balance. And John Alite's sitting in Europe laughing because we're going after a guy that means nothing. This clown, Ramondi, he means nothing. There's no reason to go after him no more. He's done. He's been proven to be stolen valor and not a gangster. I mean, we don't need to prove anything more with him. So now it's time to take it up to another level with the Alites. Full concentration. I mean, I'm going to see what Bolt's. Okay, I saw that the dude is disturbed. Thank you, Mob Rot Wars. So I'm going to read some of these. Hey, just give me your opinion. Just be honest with me. What do you think? I'm sensitive? I shouldn't say that, I guess, right? There's a YouTube channel 8 years ago attacking FBS. 8 years old, attacking FBS and his wife and Aliar and others. Who is doing that one? Jimmy? Here's the problem with Jimmy. Jimmy does not have... He claims not to even have a phone to do this stuff. I think it's bullshit. Because why is Jimmy sending me messages calling me a pedophile and mentioning my brother's death? Because Jimmy's warning me that this is what they're going to use. So all these guys are involved in this. It's not one, it's not two, it's all of them. And that stuff will all come out. I mean, this is just the beginning. I mean, they're going to be hit with 3 tapes. That's it. That's 3 right now. That's 3 of many. We're talking text. We're talking every form of communications that there is. And whether people like the fact I did this or not, there's nothing I can do about it. People are going to have their minds made up. Today, before I started this video, I had 1 like and 10 dislikes. So that tells you right there that there's still people are trolling around, and Alite's going to send a lot of trolls into these rooms now. He's not going to go down easy. He never has. Mob rats, yes. Tanya's, what's that, her station called? Mob Rats, Crime and Organized Crime. And Tanya already started that one yesterday. And she has a couple more that's going to be coming. I'm not sure how she's going to do it or when she's going to do it, but the only way to find out is to keep in touch and basically join Tanya's channel. But Mob Rats, if you could put the name of her channel up here, I'd appreciate it. Or even Sicilian. I honestly can't take Lee serious anymore. Biggest flip-flop. Slug 619, you never come in here. So pretty much I don't care what you have to say. These tapes, play the tapes. Texas, if you want to hear the tapes, one has already been played. Go to Tanya's station. Are they already on her? She played one yesterday. Actually, she did a wonderful job on it. And when you listen to the video, basically you're going to hear a lot of the audio is going to have a lot of attacks on her and Angel Gotti, especially Angel Gotti in that. Yeah, this is Tanya YouTube channel. Okay. Listen, and also it's very important to realize that Angel Gotti has gotten the brunt of this. And they keep saying that Angel's paying us. Angel's not paying nobody. Sicilian, are you being paid by Angel? You know, it's the most ridiculous thing. What do they think? Like Angel's sitting at home and she has a wad of cash and she's just handing people cash and saying, go attack John Alite? It's ridiculous. Nobody's being paid in this. People choose their sides. They decide who they want to believe. And the next thing, you're going to hear that John Gotti Jr. is a rat, but he was in 5 trials. That doesn't make sense in itself. The Alites fight like far left-wing Democrats. Don't tell that to John Alite, because John Alite says that he's like Donald Trump. He's a victim, and he's being attacked all the time. So John Alite would take that to heart, that you would say that. But it's kind of funny, though. Your followers have stuck around. My followers have, and they really have. Despite everything that's going on, and I like to thank those people. I just went over 2,000, which was nice, but now I'm gonna keep it up, and we're gonna stay in one direction. This is the flip flopping is not going to happen. Okay, whatever flip flop had happened, but it always had a purpose behind it, even though some people don't believe that. But it doesn't matter. I know. Okay, it has these weird demon curses and pics of your wife and you, and they attacked others in other videos. It's great. Yes. Yeah. And let me tell you something. It's really weird too. When they put these pages up, sometimes they keep them private. And the reason they keep them private, because then they can't be taken down because they're considered private. But they'll let certain people get into the page. The people that they want to attack, they'll let them be able to access the page. And if they make it public, the pages are easier to take down than if they're considered private. What is crime organization? Yes, that crime organization and bold crimes. Thank you, Lexi. That is where you would go to watch these. And you know what? I was very surprised she didn't get more people listening to those tapes yesterday. The first one she played, she did a great job, and they're really fascinating. When you get inside the twisted mind of Jimmy Alite. I do disturb thing. Yep. And Bold Sicilian has been taking abuse on this. He's getting a lot of stuff put online about him. A lot of I noticed that lately he's getting more and more trolls, and the people trolling him seem to come out of nowhere, and that's what's happening here too. I basically blocked a lot of people, so I don't get nearly as many trolls, but the trolls are out there, and they're going to be coming now. I mean, because you got some angry people today, really, really angry people. And right now, Jimmy Alites jumping up and down. I could just picture him in his room. He probably hasn't eaten his tendies. That's how pissed he is. Lexi Johnson goes after rats. Go listen to her story about how she got you. Oh, that sounds interesting. Thank you for, I'll do that. Mickey Griggs, the Alites should be dealt with for sure. Get them, and you know what? Let's remember though. Let's remember the people that have been attacking, have really been going after them. You know, that's the most important thing, because none of us should step in here and act like this hasn't been done. They've been doing this for a few years now, and I just mentioned those guys, and so this isn't something new. Now we could just go after them harder, and then there's more. But a whole bunch of rats are coming, people. A whole bunch of rats are coming. They're going to be, all these, like this Colombo thing that happened, there was a lot of rats involved in that. And then you got other people getting out of prison right now, or very soon, or, they're just going to show up here. I'll bet you by next year, you'll have 20 or 30 platforms where rats are running them, because they know that they can come to the internet now, start their YouTube stations. They know this. YouTube is like their book. It's like their gambling book or something. It's something that they can come out and do. And once you get to a couple thousand subs, you start making some money. Once you get to 10,000 or something, once you hit the 10,000 mark, you make really good money. So these guys know this. So they're coming here and they're making really good money, and they're going to continue doing this. YouTube loves it. The government loves it, because they're going to see who attacks the rats, and then they're going to watch the people that attack the rats. And that's exactly what they're going to do. I'm sure they're watching us already. You don't think Panisi has a handler? I'll bet you Johnny Alites still has a handler. They might say they don't have handlers, but they still have handlers, because once you rat, the government owns you for life. They can come to you anytime and ask you a question. And people don't realize this about rats. They're owned for life. Rats might say, "Oh, the government doesn't own me no more." That's bullshit. I'll give you a perfect example. When Sammy Gravano was down and he got involved in that drug deal in Arizona, the state of Arizona did not even want to tell the feds, because they knew the feds would come in and run interference, because Sammy was embarrassing the hell out of them. So, the feds might say they cut ties with these people, but they never do. So anytime that you go after these people online, we're being watched. They know who all of us are right now. And we know how the government now is worse than ever. So let's remember that. It's amazing how people are so obsessed with mob life. It's an interesting life, Brooklyn 17. I mean, look, your name's Brooklyn 17. Brooklyn represents, when you think about Brooklyn, what do you think about? The mafia. I mean, some of the greatest organizations came right out of there. Some of the greatest gangsters came out of Brooklyn. It is obsessed. And there's some people that know so much about it. If you listen to people like Panisi and people like Alite, they sound like they sat down and read a book. Nobody actually knows that much unless they're studying it. You're never going to stop rats coming. They will always get the big views. You're right. Absolutely, Don. They will always get the big views, and they know that, and that's why they're going to come here. And there's a lot more to come. You're going to have low-level criminals that will say that they were more than they were, and they will get 20, 30,000 viewers right off the bat. I'm talking like bottom of the barrel sleaze bags that will say that even because they did something one time for a gangster, for a real made man, they're going to tell you, look at Panisi. Panisi was made in 2013, and then he was snitching 5 years later. How much can Panisi know? Before that, he was in jail for murdering somebody. They may have charged him with a different charge, but he murdered him. And this was explained last night on Sicilian show, exactly what he did. But that guy wasn't a real gangster. He was a gangster for 4 or 5 years, became a made man. And then if you go listen to him, talk about boring. That dude is so freaking boring. And yet he has, 8,000 followers already. I was going to do a show, play that tape, but I can hear it on Tanya's channel. I'll just discuss it later. And you know that Sicilian will discuss it. You can have a YouTube channel 10 years old. You just changed the channel's name. Don, that's a very good point. This channel that I have is about a year and a half old. And then I went and helped my son with his. And then I basically came back to mine, and I changed mine to the mafia genre and along with true crime. And overnight, I was getting 100 new viewers, 100 new subs a day. And then I was up to 600 in like a week. Then Jimmy Calandra came on, and I got up to 1,100. And then I started moving faster. I had some issues with Jimmy. I lost a bunch of subs. And now they're starting to come back. So I'm averaging right now about maybe 10, 20 a day. So yeah, you're right, Don. That's why people are going to choose this genre. And you got to remember too, the competition is going to get very heavy, and the more heavy, if you're not good and people don't like you, people aren't going to stay with you. It's that simple. Crime and Bold Organization, sub to that. Thank you, Cuban. I'm not a troll, but clearly stated you were considered taking time off, but you have done opposite. New video every day. I never said I was going to take off. I just said I was going to be a good boy. That's it. And I'm going to do things different. It was draining me. When you get hit hard by people that you really don't want attacking you because they're in the right, it can wear you out. And you can ask the same thing with Bold Sicilian. We had this conversation. It wears you out. Even when you don't get attacked, doing this wears you out. It's not an easy thing. People think that, you just come on here and put these shows together and that's that. It's not that simple. If it was that simple, everybody'd be doing it. 99% of the people that come onto YouTube to create channels do not make it. It's just a very few people that make it. People say, oh, I'm going to start, you'll hear all these people, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. People want to hear my life, and they don't want to hear your shit. So if we're not here, if we're not entertaining, you guys are not going to hang around. YouTube will bury Netflix sooner or later. YouTube is very clever because what they're doing is they're letting people build TV shows, literally TV, no budgets and stuff. So YouTube doesn't have to pay you. YouTube rips you off. I mean, every video that you put up, they'll make you challenge it in order to make money off of it. So YouTube is like making tons of money off a bunch of people making shows for people. I mean, YouTube will be the way soon. Everybody said Netflix untouchable. Remember, I said this: within 5 years from now, YouTube will be bigger than Netflix. That's just my opinion. You have to make sure you don't record people from two-party states. Exactly. You got it. No, actually, you can. If you're in a state like Texas and you call somebody that's in a two-party state, the person making the call is the one that actually is responsible. So, and this was thoroughly checked. That's why these tapes took a while coming out. You have to check the laws, because if you don't, John Alite would sue in a second. There's no doubt. I will definitely be checking it, but I said I mean no disrespect, but I have a hard time following along with her voice. I know it sounds petty, but I will give another chance. We'll definitely. Lexi, do you follow? I mean, everybody has different types of voices, Lexi, but way to go. Okay. Mob Talk Radio. Their ignorance will never allow them to accept that people dislike them on their own laurels, so there has to be some conspiracy. Yeah. And Mob Talk, how many new people would be coming in here that are rats, low-level rats, claiming that they're high-level gangsters and having shows? Because Panisi was a low-level gangster. He's a legitimate made man, but he was in what, 5 years? Five real years. And then he became a rat. And he didn't even have to become a rat. He didn't even have no charges on him or anything. He decided to because he heard voices. That guy is unbelievable, man. Now the Alites are responsible for your thumbs down. Come on, deny how much? Jimmy Rocco, you're a very negative dude. I gave you the opportunity, but you know what? I don't know what to say to you, guy. There's always other shows. Leon blocked from this channel. My comments are not posting. Darren C4, I will check that right after this show. I give you my word on that. Okay, I have some great info on Ramondi, so I can't understand why. Darren, it's not done on purpose. I'll check it, and we'll see. Someone just asked me, where's Thin Gray Line? Thin Gray Line is going to be starting his own show, and it sounds kind of interesting. We talk all the time. He's a very nice man. There's nothing more behind that, but he has to be careful too because of his job. He has to watch what he's involved with and what he says. And as you people know, that my channel could be quite controversial sometimes, and it could affect him in a negative way. So I respect his wishes. I somehow thought it might be the case. Thank you, Angel. Okay. How's it going, my man? I like that, the eye coverage thing there. Alite thinks he's Jimmy Burke. He's just a Burke. Alite's definitely no Jimmy Burke. Not even close. Alite's a perfect example of people that come on to YouTube and claim that there's something they're not. John Alite had to be the biggest hustler of all time. And I was watching some interviews that he did, some old interviews that he did with Anastasia. And Anastasia backed him on everything. I mean, he literally sat next to him. I mean, I seen Anastasia like saying these things about Junior, just sitting there saying this, this, and this, 5 pages of this and all that stuff. I mean, he was real. If it wasn't for Anastasia, would we even know who John Alite was right now? I don't think so. You know, I think that once Anastasia realized he fucked up, it was too late and he had to go with his lie. Darren, your comments, my channel will blocked by YouTube. Please comment again. How are you blocked if your comments show? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I was just wondering that maybe you got a new tag. Lee, let me ask you something. Do you keep talking about Alites? Sure, the guy exaggerates. He's a liar, but he was real deal. But you keep using his name to gain popularity. Can you explain it? Yeah, sure I can. When popularity, what do you mean? I got 2,000 subs. Do you think I got them from John Alite? I haven't done a John Alite video in about a good solid month and a half. See, that's what people like to say. They like to say that that the people that have the YouTube shows are building them up using people's names. If you look at my library, if you look at the library of FBS, if you look at Mob Talks, well, he drops a lot of his tapes. But if you look at our libraries, there's a lot of different things. That's just false. That, we're making our stations based on John Alite. That is such a crock of shit. That's just my opinion, John. Over the last month, I barely talked about John Alite. Putting these tapes out, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to help me. They could backfire on me. I've done a lot of things that have backfired on me already. Angel only hates Alite because he's Albanian. Okay, Joey, I know you're joking on that. Krumel said, DC4, you are not blocked. Okay, Dara. Because John Jr. never snitched, he gave false information. That's right, wise guy. And this is what people don't realize. Junior sat in cells. They put him in solitary confinement and locked him up for like months and months and months, years at a time. Calandra did more for the channel than anyone else. He shouted Lee out and keeps doing it. Alar Smelly Selly. Let me tell you something. Jimmy Calandra came on here and yes, he helped me. Then Jimmy Calandra turned on me because of Sammy Gavano and I lost all his subs. So Jimmy has nothing to do with this channel anymore. People that like Jimmy will not sub for my channel. So that's just and that's the same thing with Sicilian. Sicilian was well developed, and then Jimmy came on and did an interview for him and helped him. But the fact of the matter is, Sicilian was established already. Nobody has that much power. You want to know who got established? Calandra got established when he went on Sammy Gravano's station. I'm sorry, his channel. Now Sammy can make any channel. People would love to go on Sammy's channel just because of our Michaels. So that's just a false myth that people like to use. You wouldn't be here if Jimmy didn't come on. I have 3 videos over 20,000. One of them is Jimmy's. I got 2 other ones over 20,000. So it's not just Jimmy. Ali, I enjoy your station, support your content, but did you address the call with Gene being fake or planned? I don't have to address that because that's going to be addressed. I'm concentrating on the Alites right now, and then I'll concentrate on other people when that time comes. That's all I can say to you, Mustache Pete. I have my reasons behind it, just like I had my reasons with the Alites. Solitary confinement, diesel therapy with a massive kidney infection. He never ratted. That tells it right here. It's funny too, that people have no idea. A lot of people have no idea what solitary confinement is. Solitary confinement makes you wish like you were dead. It's 23-hour lockup, and then they let you out into a yard, maybe for an hour, and that's only if they're in a good mood. But if your last name's Gotti, they're not going to be in a good mood. So how many times do you think they didn't let Junior out of his cell? You know, people could talk a big game, but until you're actually sitting in a cell in solitary confinement, you have no idea what it's like. People in solitary confinement would rather be in an electric chair or get put to sleep, whatever way they're going to kill you. Solitary confinement is the worst torture there is. This is why I don't believe in the death penalty. I believe if someone is a really bad criminal, put them in solitary confinement. You know, it breaks most people. It makes most people go nuts being in solitary confinement for a long period of time. Thank you, but my post on yesterday and the day before the videos did not appear in the comment section. I actually emailed you. Okay. Darren, just so you do know, YouTube now has this new thing along with Facebook. Basically what they do is they have a new filter, and a lot of times things don't get through. They'll only let things go through that they think should go through. It's part of shutting people down. All these social networks are putting these filter systems in, and they can shut down what sometimes we don't even know what's coming through the filter system. It's all political. And these filter systems are up, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, you can't even if you go to Yahoo now, you can't even comment on anything that you write. Remember, you used to be able to comment and stuff? They purposely don't let no one comment anymore because they're afraid that you're going to speak against what their agenda is. And that's what's happening right now with these filters. Angel, I said I was in Howard Beach Hangouts. He can't show his face in bars or restaurants that the Gambinos go in. That's fact. Who are you talking about, CZ? The Gambinos right now, are there any Gambinos left? A couple of young guys getting ready to snitch. I mean, that's all the young people do now is snitch. And all of them. They're not like the old timers. That's cruel, unusual punishment. It sure is. Oh my gosh. Solitary confinement. I don't know you that well, dude. So the odds of you getting a wrench is pretty much astronomical at this point. I learned my lesson on that one, my man. Right now, I got one guy with a wrench in here, and he does the work of 10 guys. Did Junior say he sat with the FBI to release? I don't know that. Angel's the only one that can answer that probably the right way, so I can't give you an answer on that. Benny Blanco, everybody's a rat apart from Gotti in Angel's eyes. Okay. Beth Avenue Tattletale found out what Sparrow did to, he told the feds, info using Babel. Yes. I'm not going to get into Jimmy Clandra now. I'm going to see what he does with me. I don't particularly care for the man. I don't care if he cares for me. Laugh my ass off, there are Gambinos left from the old country. Maybe in the old country, dude, but look what's happening now with all these gangsters. I mean, they had, when the Columbus got busted the other day, their leader was an 87-year-old man. How can you lead at 87? I mean, you could barely walk. I mean, they're literally in wheelchairs giving orders. I mean, that's how dead they're becoming. We might as well say the Columbos are dead. That family's done. And these other families, you can't do anything anymore. You can't go after unions anymore. You can't commit crimes on the street because there's cameras everywhere. And everybody's snitching. Everybody knows that they have a free pass. They got a free pass. So the government busted an 87-year-old head of a family a couple days ago. He probably he could be dead tomorrow. And that's it. That family's done. When you see these young rats and how much they're ratting, it's a joke. The Russians laugh. The Russians will run right over these guys. Also, Lee, you made a video about Francis talking about Alite 3 days ago. What do you mean you haven't? Oh, John. Okay, so 3 days ago I made a video. Okay, how many more are you going to find? Are you just going to try to say that my channel's based on John Alite? Then I get accused it's based on Gotti. Then I get accused that it's based on Calandra. Which one is it? I mean, maybe as a channel, it's our job to find the stories and go with them. So it doesn't matter what I say to you or what I put up, John. You have your mind made up that I shouldn't be here, but I am here. And John, if you think it's so easy, go start your own channel. The Caminos are still around and are run by Sicilians. So, well, you listen, look what's happened over in Sicily with the mob, too. A lot of them are snitching now, too, aren't they, Don? All the young guys there are snitching. So once the old timers are gone, this whole thing is done. We're new generation. I mean, you got guys playing video games until they're 18 years old now. These guys aren't in the street like the guys used to be. They don't even know what the streets are. You can go to the port. You don't even see nobody outside. You know, being a gangster meant that you were in the streets. These kids aren't in the streets no more. So it's like anything else. As the old timers die, the whole thing's going to die out. That's just my prediction, Don. That's part of society. Welcome to our modern society. Aledo said lack of funds from you led to it being dropped. I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. Lack of funds? Darren, if you read the indictment to only mention Teddy lied about associating with members, that's all they got. Lexi says, it will never be done. It's called tradition. Not everybody is a teenager playing video games. Lexi, actually, yes, all the teenagers are playing video games, like 90% of them. I mean, you probably have guys that want to be gangsters sitting at home playing video games. Yeah, we're kidding ourselves if we don't think that's what these kids do. We're all sitting in front of the TV playing video games. Very few of them out in the streets. Hey, Dave. Andrew Russo is the boss at 87 because he's the boss. If you don't understand that, you won't understand Costa Nostra. Lexi, you have your mind made up. If you think that Costa Nostra is still what it used to be, you're kidding yourself. It's impossible. The biggest mafia in the world is the United States government. They don't want nobody else being the mafia. That's the mafia. They have all the power. They got all the men. I mean, it's the biggest mafia in the history of organizations. Bath Avenue Tattletale feels a lone wolf, so he trains boxes oranges at Walmart. Okay. Leto said lack of, okay, we read this already. Darren, if you read the indictments to only mention Teddy lied on about associating with members, that's all they got. Yeah, we read these are older people, and I'm not going to keep this going, but I'll read a couple more. I'll go 12 more minutes. The Gambinos in New York City are run by the Sicilians. They are much smarter and secretive. The mob in the U.S. is learning how to organize crime is done here in Europe. It's all about white collar drug importing. Don Vito, if you're in Europe, you really don't realize what's going on in America anymore, because the mafia in America is the United States government. They're not going to let nobody organize. Anybody that tries to organize, they're going to bring down. They want everything for themselves. They don't want nobody taking nothing that they can have. We may not want to hear that, but we're living it right now. We see it every day. Just because there isn't any social club doesn't mean there isn't a mob. Steve, there is a mob, but it's very tiny and very insignificant. You can't control unions like you used to. The IRS won't let you. The unions belong to them. Thank you, Mob Talk. Miss can't be wrong. It was a banana. U.S. government legalized booze even after, so they can make money. Legalize gambling. Legalize pot. That's right, Dave. Thank you. They're legalizing everything because they want the piece of the pie. And anybody that tries to get in their way, they're going to put away. You know, and that's just what they're doing. They control the media. They control their social networks. They control everything. Nothing will be what it was. Things change, but Costa Nostra is a strong tradition and hasn't gone anywhere. Okay, you believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. There's nothing we can do about it. I'm sure that there's always going to be criminals, without a doubt. But I think that they're not organized like they used to be. That's just my opinion. Because the government can put you in jail so easy now. Have a great people. Have a business to run. Peace out. Darren, and I'll double check that once again to make sure that you're not blocked out. I'll check that afterwards. Schmigel cries a lot. Hey, what do you people think about Sammy Gravano with all his, he's become a great activist lately for, what does he say, brothers and sisters? I mean, it's kind of comical if you watch him. But you got to give him credit, people buying it. Oh, yeah, he did. A matter of fact, it's turned out that John Alite was in the back seat. Sammy was up front with John, and Alite was in the back. Ricardo was the boss at 80. No, there's older bosses. There's no doubt. I'm talking about now. I mean, now, right now. You got to be insane to want to be part of organized crime in the United States right now. Because they're going to come get you. They're going to come get you, and you know where they're going to put you? They're going to put you in a maximum security prison. That's your punishment. Joe Biden doesn't even know where he is. I mean, let alone be a Dule Don. The guy's an embarrassment. And I'm sorry if I. Clown World Mobsters. Lee deletes comments. No, I haven't deleted one comment today. But when I read them, I delete them if there has something to do in the videos and they're real nasty. Callie G's. Oh, the Colombo family was just in the news yesterday. The mafia is here. It's just underground. And Callie G. There's no doubt the mafia is here, but they're nothing like they used to be. And if people keep saying they are, they're just kidding themselves. The United States government will not allow it. They are the mafia. Lee, 100% correct. The U.S. government runs all rackets, booze, gambling, pot, lending. Yes. They got control of the pot now. Legalize. I mean, you couldn't have said it better, Dave. I mean, that explains it right there. That's why they're legalizing all this stuff, because they want to reap the rewards. You know, when marijuana was made legal originally in Colorado, they had so much cash because the banks wouldn't take the money now. Now they're going to be making laws where the banks can take the money and everything. They're going to make tons of money off that, all that pot money. Lee, thanks for doing the Ramonde video. I left the crumbs for you for a reason. You all have bigger platforms. Well, that guy's incredible. You know, I don't know if you guys see my show a couple days ago, but I had the guy on that was from the Green Berets, and he actually was talking about them investigating him, and they weren't going to go at him full heavy, but he literally got on the phone and started arguing with them, and then he lied He said that they were trying to extort money from him and that people were hanging out at his house, knocking at his door. And that really pissed him off. He actually, Anthony Raimondi made a big mistake by doing that to them. He poked the bear, and now the bear's they're gonna go for him, and they're gonna put him up on the website. So he's got a big problem. Check out Gotti attorney Jeff Lichtman YouTube channel called Gotti 10 years later. He didn't tell on anyone. He explains the full legal strategy. People, you should go check that out if you're not sure. Out in California, the mob is not tiny, it's not insignificant, it's underground. Please, again, you can't even pronounce Costa Nostra. Cali G, you're a negative dude, dude. You don't like me. I don't even know why you're here. You came here to not like me more? You're right up there with Panisi. Okay. Yeah, he's a carny, actually. There's video of him selling cigars down at Coney Island. I mean, that's where he worked for a long time. When it comes down to it, nobody really knows what's going on unless they are involved. It's a secret society for a reason. Mustache Pete, I wish they did exist like they used to exist, to be honest with you. I hate the idea that the government's making all the money. All I ever hear these days are these rats saying the mob don't kill anybody anymore. How would they know this? One of the biggest problems, I would say, Maz, is that there's cameras everywhere now. I mean, back in the day, they could do hits and stuff. You can't do it. You know how hard it is to do a hit and get away with it now? The mob is actually bigger than ever. It's corporate. They're not on the streets. They run companies like Comcast. Okay. If you want to keep saying that, Cali G, but I doubt they run Comcast. Yeah, I say the United States government runs all these companies. Mob is a shit. Yes, it is. And you know, you just have diehard people in here that don't want to admit it. They just don't want to admit it. There is no money on the streets to make billions from white collar crime and imported drugs, Calibrian. I mean, any money they make from white collar crimes, the governments let them make. They have to bribe the government to do corrupt things nowadays. The government's not going to allow anybody to do anything if they don't want them to do it. Jimmy Clandrew is made to fetch pastries and made to give massages. Okay, I'm not touching that one. Hey, Lee and chat, hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday. Yes, actually, I'm enjoying it. I hope everybody else is. I hear Gravano is sick, real sick, not sure how true it is. Couldn't happen to a better man. Sammy went Black Lives Matter, laugh out loud. What a joke. He doesn't tell people he would have disowned Karen for marrying Seabrook if he was still a mobster. He's still, the guy's the biggest phony going. Sammy Gravano changes with the wind. I mean, Sammy Gravano has talks about having Viking tattoos on him from supremacist groups in prison. Then he talks about being a great civil rights person. He's so full of crap. It's comical. But you know what? Say what you want about Sammy, but if you watch Sammy talk, he is so good at talking. He's very interesting. And that's what makes him what he is. But let's face it, though. He's in his mid-70s and he has Graves' disease. He's ill. I mean, how much longer can he keep going and doing this? Ronald said he was going to slit gas pipe's throat in prison today. I heard he was terrified of him on the street. It's easy for a lot of these guys to say that Sammy was in lockup in prison. I mean, he was in the protective custody ward, so he wasn't going to slice nobody's throat. Sammy killed you from behind. He shot you in the back of the head when you weren't looking. That's what Sammy did. You never seen Sammy coming. Schmigel cat. His water, but it bros. When Sammy tells his stories, I can't say I am listening to the Mafia podcast or Braveheart. The only mafioso with morals and integrity. Get the fuck out of here. It's the truth. Yes. When you watch Sammy, you're doing it for entertainment value because 70% of what he's saying is added on to what he's talking about. You know, back in the day, there were social clubs all over New York and New Jersey. You don't see them anywhere. No, you don't, because they know better than to gather. You know, that those clubs were the downfall because the government knew exactly where to go and take all the pictures and everything and put them together and get them on RICO charges. Once you prove that they were a group of guys that worked together, you could charge them all with RICO. And that's what the government did. And those social clubs were a big part of that. RICO is the worst thing to ever happen to any organized crime family. Mike Grillo hates the Bath Avenue tattletale. Well, the reality is with the Bath Avenue guys, sure, they were some badasses, but in the end, it didn't work out for none of them. You know, one guy is made in prison now. The other ones all became rats and got killed by their friends. I mean, there was no glory in being a Bath Avenue guy. You make $1,500 per $100,000 views on YouTube. Good money. No, that's not. That's Shanika. That's not true. Basically, people that have shows make money all sorts of ways. That's one way. People also make money by putting up cash apps. They also make money by chats. I mean, there's so many ways. Like if you have someone show that's real popular, they can have 2,000-3,000 and be doing really well. And per 1,000 views, you make anywhere from $2 to $8 to $9. It's all over the board. Nobody knows what the exact figures are. Got a good story. I don't have no stories about Sonny Black, but I noticed Sonny Black fucked up. Ramondi would be allowed to talk about the live publicity if he was a made guy. That didn't cooperate. Yeah, he wasn't a made guy. It's no doubt that he was not a made guy. I mean, the evidence is there. Sammy's stories are fascinating. The only one who seems to be talking the truth, Radonad, is the king of the patent. Actually, he has Michael Francis has many more followers than Sammy, like about 250,000 more. So I would say the king would still be Michael. I never agree with you, Lie, but I agree with this. The government definitely is the largest organized crime group in the world. They steal taxes from people and they run guns. Look what they just did in Afghanistan. They left all those guns behind on purpose. Do people think that they did that by accident? Those guns, all those weapons were left behind for a reason. I wonder if the feds do the money and property they obtain over the years. So exactly. Or how about the towns now that I just seen this one guy in California that he was heading for California. I'm sorry, and they stopped him, and he had like I think $30,000 in cash in his vehicle, and it turned up that he saved it. He was in the military, and they took the money from him out of his car, and he had to go back to court to get the money. And just because he had the money in his car, they basically labeled him a drug dealer because he had all that cash. They had no right to take the cash. You know, believe it or not, people carry sums of cash on him some like times like that. But the guy did get his money back, but he had to pay for his lawyer and stuff to get his money back, which was really sucky. Okay, 1 second, please. Okay, just remember about the U.S. government: when you print your own money and you won 2 world wars, they are the mafia, and they don't lose any battles, period. Everything is very well planned for them. This whole Afghanistan thing was so planned. Ramondi was in Colombo. Colombo's maybe one of them will rat him out. Neil's on the chalkboard better than I think Ramondi, you're not going to be seeing too much of him. Because if you heard my show the other day and the Marine that was on it, I'm sorry, the Green Beret that was on it, he actually was saying that Ramondi's under intense investigation right now by the military, I mean, by his organization. And if Ramondi was smart, he would just disappear into the night. I mean, this is silly for him to even keep going out there. People that platform him are really making a mistake right now. No, he was able to run cigar stand for 1 summer season or 2. He couldn't even manage the stand. I'm from out here, as you know. Yep. He couldn't. Well, that's interesting stuff. I know that you did some work on it too. But that's really interesting stuff. Driving and listening. Well, make sure you're safe. You got to change that name, my man. New beginning for unemployed FBS. Just out of respect, you should change it, dude. Ramondi talking about Lufthansa is the most ridiculous. Oh my gosh. And it was done. I mean, look what, it's just so unbelievable that anybody that believes this guy and the stories that he makes up. Meyer Lansky came up here. According to him, Meyer Lansky came up from Florida. And at this time, Meyer Lansky was being watched by the feds. He just got back from Israel. Israel kicked him out. Meyer Lansky knew he was under investigation by the government here, and he went to Israel, and he tried to get citizenship there. And Israel turned him down, and they made him go back. So Meyer Lansky goes back to Florida, and he's being thoroughly watched by the feds. Meyer Lansky was never went anywhere that the feds didn't know he was going, because the feds thought he had all this money hidden away and stuff. And when he died, they found out Meyer Lansky didn't have any money. He had very little money. So that's all a myth. Be interested if organized crime figures are coming up missing. They didn't leave everybody in the street then, and they have even more reasons not to now. But the problem is, it's so hard to hurt anybody now. I mean, there's cameras everywhere. You can go deer hunting in the woods, and there's cameras hanging on the trees that you don't even know they're there. Gunner gangsters can't pay. Say, well, I'll tell you what. If you're talking about Gunner, boy, his show went way down. I don't know what happened there. It's kind of sad. 20 years ago, they thought Sammy made us all sick to our stomachs. Now he's a superstar. Yep. Well, it depends who you were talking about him being a superstar. But, Sammy was a very, people get mad at me and stuff when I say stuff about Sammy. The guy is like, he talks about watching guys pump up their penises with penis pumps. Creepy. He looks creepy. He is creepy. And if you are his partner, he will put a bullet in your head. Wasn't it you and Sammy in the streets back in the days? You guys went to different schools. I don't know who you're talking about. It sure the hell wasn't me. Stax has a nice learning. Yeah, looking for cartoon books. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see if Stax has Ramondi on anymore. It's going to be very interesting. Now that Stax knows exactly what's going on, it'd just be interesting to see if he has them on. The only reason Sammy is big here is because he's willing to spill all the beans, and he was the life when it was at its best. If John Gotti were doing the same thing, he'd take all of Sammy's subs. Yeah. But a real gangster wouldn't do that. They wouldn't, a guy that wasn't a rat, you don't see them on here. You don't see Junior on here. You don't see, please let me know if there's any real made guys that you see on here that didn't become rats. Mob finally got smart banning social clubs. Just makes it easier for feds to identify them. Social clubs, the real guys make sure to never even take a phone call from one another, even if it's an innocent phone call. You all need to watch my videos and see how professionals communicate. How many made men from the Genovese families do you hear about getting arrested? I heard some got busted in New York City the Genovese family was always the smartest family. There's no doubt about that. They were. The Genovese family was always the most powerful family and always the smartest family. I mean, look what happened after Sammy Guevara Look what happened after Paul Castellano was killed. The Genovese started attacking the Gambinos, and they were winning. They were putting guys down left and right because it was an unsanctioned hit. But, I think the Genovese has always been, tell me if I'm wrong, but I always think that they were the crop. They were the cream of the crop when it came to families. Bad Leroy 3, Ruthless Leroy. Hey, listen, we're in a genre where you got to be a little ruthless. That's the reality of it. I mean, this is a tough genre. You won't last here long if you're not willing to take the good with the bad. And there's a lot of bad that comes from this genre. John Reese shook his hand with a snitch and got his hands chopped off, then killed. Does anybody know what happened with Sonny Money? He had some cops pull up at his house, and he was saying this crazy stuff. Does anybody know what the deal was with that, the actual real deal? I don't know why I'm even bringing Sonny Money up here, but he put a video on, and the cops were pulling away from his house. This happened yesterday, I think, or something. Just some weird shit. I listen to everything I could find on John Jr. puts out, a fascinating figure. And if you listen to him speak, he's a very intelligent figure. You could even tell he was from New York. I mean, not that I'm saying that people from New York aren't, that deep accent. I used to have an accent like that, but being that I've been all over the country, mine has gone away over the time. It's nothing like it used to be. Do you realize the largest holder of Bitcoin is the FBI? Guess how they got it? Seizure. And that's what do you know that Bitcoin was made as a joke originally and it's become this big? It was a prank. That's what really is amazing about Bitcoin. But that now people are using it to commit crimes and to hide and stuff. And you're right. The FBI makes seizures with it. They love it. Not only weapons, but armored vehicles, Chinooks, and Apache helicopters. And they were left there. But here's the thing, though. They have nobody that knows how to use those Chinooks and Apache helicopters there. Very few people. But, they left them behind. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to sell those. They're going to sell those to Russia. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to get cold cash and make cash off those weapons. Those rebels don't know how to, you got to go to school. It takes, a long time to learn how to fly an Apache or a Chinook. And these guys are mostly uneducated men. I mean, so they can't fly these things. We left them there on purpose as a payoff. It's obvious. Those guns left up. Yeah, Ed, you have a great point. A guy from India, Flores, had a YouTube channel. He would be an interesting guest. Can't remember his name. There's a lot of interesting guests, and when you have these channels, the thing is to go out and find them. The other day when I had that Guardians of the Green Beret come on, he came on during the middle of the show. He started calling me, and he wound up being a really good guest because he basically talked about the investigation going on with Riamonde. Sometimes it's a lot of luck when you're getting a guest to come on, a good guest, a really solid guest. It's not as easy as people think it is. I was trying to comment. Lee call 3. Someone is erasing my comments. Maybe I should help you mod. Oh, my man, come on. That's not happening. The attorney probably charged him $40K to get back his 30. You know, that's a good point, Mickey. Listen, we got a lot of comments here, but I'm going to chop this down, and I'll take a couple more. Get down here. Take some of the guys. Boot Hill Crew says, you will, but he's a rat. Maybe many things, but he's not a rat. Okay. Paranoia made, I think that Panisi ratted because he was looking for a way out. He's seen people getting busted. Look, he killed a guy. And what did he, how did he kill this guy? He did it like a coward. He called his friend, and his friend showed up at his house. Then they went to this guy's house, and they killed him. Panisi didn't even have the guts to come out and fight a guy that was bashing his car windows in. He had to wait until they got there, until his friend got there before he did anything. Panisi doesn't tell you that story, though. Oh, Don Vito, I'm not going to read that, but everything that you have written there is absolutely 100% true in my opinion. I'm very negative because you're obsessed with thumbs down and said it's the elite team, and I called you out on it. Nice try, playa. Jimmy Rocco, you know, I gave you the benefit of a doubt on Twitter, but you're still going to be a dick. So maybe let's not give you the benefit of a doubt. Krumo, you know what to do. Stop censoring people, Lee. You're lowering their credibility, lowering your own credibility. Aaron, you just insulted me there. What am I supposed to do? You know, no one's being censored. This is all in your mind. If it was someone else who murdered the guy instead of JP, you'd call him a tough guy and glamorize them. You play favorites. Maybe. I don't know. If you think I play favorites, okay. Read through the SCARP FB files, all you need to know about the feds. Yep. But, you know, there's some good stuff coming out on that too. But, you know, if you write about the feds now, you got to be worried. They're going to come after you. I mean, look what they're doing right now. You literally have people from Facebook, from YouTube, I mean, from all these platforms working in the White House now. Literally working in the White House. Okay, I know you're full of shit, dude. Your accent is sexy, Lee. Okay, once you said that, you lost all credibility. But anyway, thank you, people. I appreciate you coming to the show today. And I'm sure you're going to hear more on FBS's show about this. I appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody's support. And thank you for giving me that opportunity to be here today. Everybody take care. Thank you.